Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Barley Room, a proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
The Sports Desk is proudly presented by Car Crafters. It's like it never happened.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that could happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Welcome to the Sports Desk, live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed live on Facebook. I'm Ed Nunez, along with Highland head football coach Phil Lovato. Phil, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, Coach, there's been a lot of talk around the Highland football program, and a lot of football programs, not just Highland. The football season starts August 24th, and that's just a couple weeks away.
Correct.
So I kind of wanted to talk about what's Highland doing to prepare for the season. Everyone's getting ready. James Yoda's had a good, he has capsules every day in the journal getting ready for the season. So, you know, Highland's no different than any football team in town. What are you guys doing? You and I had a talk the other day at my job, and I appreciated you coming down to talk about your preparation for the season. You don't have a lot of numbers, but you know what? It's not everybody does. I think one of the things that I'm finding out about football, and they had a good article or a good feature on the Channel 13 last night. It's not just Highland, okay? It's not just Highland's numbers are down. Numbers are down throughout the state for whatever reason, okay? But I think I wanted to ask you, how is Highland preparing for the football season with your numbers? Now, again, it's not just Highland that has the low numbers, but you mentioned to me the other day how your team preps for the season, how they get ready, how they practice, because injuries, you know, are part of any football season.
Correct.
One of the things that Dominic Bramante said, the Gladiators coach, it's 100% for sure someone's going to get injured, right, in the game that you play. So I wanted to ask you, how does Highland getting ready for their football season?
You know, like everybody else, you know, you're out there running and you know, jumping over bags or hitting sleds, you know, all those kind of things. But the injuries is always, that's one of the things that we're really focused on more this year than in the past. So making sure that we are staying, well hydrated, working with our trainer, making sure that, kids are in a good place, first of all. And then when we're out there, we're constantly, gauging what's the heat like, the temperature, do the kids, look lethargic, just every little thing you can think of is what we're looking at, because with our numbers, we have to look long term. And so, the old school style of push through, we're going, we can't do that. We are, very much talking to the kids all the time. How do you feel? How does this feel? What are you thinking? And so from a mental standpoint, that's how we're really focusing on this year, is making sure that we are healthy for the whole year.
And you played in 1994 under legendary coach Mark Henry, the last Highland football coach to win a state championship in 1989. Correct. A great coach, but an even better person. I remember when he got the job at Highland, I was still coaching basketball there. And I remember the day he got the job in the office, where the coach's office is. He had balloons, it was a big moment for him.
Yeah.
But I just saw him last week, and, what a great guy. Just, he's a great coach. He comes from a great family, right?
Yes.
Mark Henry, Robin Henry. The Henrys are well known.
Yeah, Matt Henry, all of them. Yeah, everybody.
Legendary.
Correct.
And he's a great football coach, but as I said, he's just a good guy. Mm-hmm. When you see him, you feel good, and every time I see him, like you want to be. It's a person you wanted to be around.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about when you played for him, and that was in '94, and you went. I think you played defensive line, you played offensive line, also linebacker.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about playing for the legendary Mark Henry.
Coach Henry. The reason why I am in the position I'm in is because of Coach Henry, and I even. It's hard to call him by his first name. He's coach, and he was a huge mentor for me. As a player, he had a way of just making you want to be better. He had a way of challenging you. He had a way of horsing around and having a good time. Like, it's hard to explain if you never were coached by the man. You wouldn't understand. He's incredible. And the expectations but you always felt loved. You always felt that he truly cared. And I remember even when his dad would come down to watch practice sometimes, and just the whole family is just amazing. And so playing for him, that was kind of the thing is, wherever he wanted you to play, you just played. You didn't argue, you didn't complain, you didn't say nothing. And everybody was pretty much that way with him. And then, he had a great staff with, Ray Pompa, Alfredo Martinez.
I remember Coach Martinez. I went to UNM with Coach Martinez. Gary Sanchez on that staff?
Gary Sanchez was an assistant. Judge Chavez was an assistant. Ray Battles was there. Steve Roselle, yeah, coach.
Former baseball coach at Highland.
Yeah, I think he's the last state championship was.
Yes, it was under Coach Roselle. Last baseball championship.
Yep. And there's just a great group of men, as mentors.
What a staff!
Oh yeah, incredible staff. And so like for me, starting my career was basically Coach Henry had just left to go up to La Cueva. His brother Matt was up there coaching track. And, he wanted to be with his brother, and, eventually they went to UNM together. But he was at La Cueva after I'd graduated, and I went up there one day, just drove by and said, just wanted to say hi, because he's so important in my life. And he just, I got there and we talked or whatever, and I remember Alfredo, Coach Martinez, was just like, hey, can you go down to the freshmen and help them with some of their lineman stuff, because I was a center in high school, and he asked if I could help them with snapping the ball or something like that. And I'm just a young punk, and so I was like, all right, and I went, and I didn't realize the impact that moment was going to be for me. And I remember walking to my car, talking with Coach Martinez, and he just said, "Do you want to do this?" He's all. And I was like, yeah, and then Coach Henry was like, are you sure? And, I'm going into my 24th season, I think now,
You know what? And everybody has that moment, right? when you know what you're going to be doing. And you must have felt right away. Some people don't get that, right? As a player, you played, you wanted to make a difference, and you must have bonded. And it's a different thing. I coached at Highland. I coached a lot of AAU kids.
Right.
And I think when you, they still call me coach, right? And you see them, just like you see Coach Henry, and it's hard to call him Mark, right? It's hard to call Coach Chavez, who absolutely loves Highland. I talked to him last week. Loves Highland.
Yes,
loves it. He's a Viking, right? He's a Viking. He played at Valley. You know, he's a Viking through and through. Yes, he is.
He's a Hornet.
And it's somebody I just think the world of, the former head man at Cibola, at Highland, and at Valley. Good coach, but a better person, right? The people that you were around, that you mentioned on the staff, and what a great staff that was. Alfredo Martinez also had experience at West Mesa. You know, he's a former classmate of mine at the University of New Mexico. So you learn so much from, and again, when you were there, and it's tradition. We'll talk about you establishing your own tradition at Highland, because Highland, when we mention the tradition there, and you talk about Highland football, you and I talked about it a little bit last night, and we talk about, the Tommy McDonald's, the Bobby Newcombs, the Jim Dodds, and I better mention Morris Chavez. He'll kill me if I don't. The Ray Granillos, the Kim McCalls, Jared Baxters, the Wes Hensons, Robert Browns. The list goes on and on. And you'd mentioned, of course, the legendary Bill Gentry. I was there at Highland when he coached, and his son Tom was the quarterback. And believe me, Coach Gentry spared Tom no slack. He was harder on Tom than he was on anybody. Legendary coach, and just the presence and the figure around the school. You didn't approach him. I coached basketball there, and he was the athletic director. And I remember we asked him for some basketballs one time, and all he said was, "Not till football's over." That was it. It wasn't like, but we just went off and got some basketballs at Walmart or whatever we had to do. And that's the kind of, we mentioned this. The legendary Henry Sanchez, the legendary Gary Sanchez. So Highland comes with a lot of tradition, and you were part of that. You were a big part of that. You got to learn under some great teachers. I can only imagine. I wanted to ask you, your philosophy coaching-wise, you had to change. It's not the Delaware T. You did run that for a while. But what philosophy did you take from Coach Henry, from Coach Martinez, from Coach Chavez? You have your own as head coach, Phil Lovato, but talk a little bit about your coaching philosophy.
It's interesting because I've been very fortunate to have coached with some great coaches, and play under great coaches, and not just to mention that group there. Like I coached with Coach Chavez and obviously with Coach Sanchez, some track stuff. But there's Fred Romero that I was with, and
Junior, right?
Junior.
Because his father was at West Mesa head coach years ago. So Coach Romero was a heck of a coach.
Coach Ottman, I coached with him. Mike Enright, who's since passed away. Jim Danner from down in Berlin, and I mean the list goes on and on and on. And it's one of those things. I'm so blessed that I got into coaching when I did, because of the people I was able to work with. Mike Draper, had a chance to coach with him, and these are just legendary men. And so, without really looking at, well, I want to be like him or be like him, you kind of absorb everything. And it was kind of funny this summer for our 7-on-7 tournament, the Metro Passing League. We were going up against Valley, so you have Coach Chavez and myself there. And a lot of the assistants and even the kids were laughing because they didn't know which coach was yelling at them, because we sounded almost, the same kind of mannerisms of, he doesn't want to be there, get him out, let's get the next guy in, And so that was kind of funny because, Coach Chavez had a huge impact on my life as well. But like Coach Henry, I think, what he helped teach me was more just the love, just appreciating the game, appreciating your staff, the kids, just enjoying the moment, and so I try really hard to do that, but I got a lot of that old school still in me of, you got to be tough, especially in our community. We talked about that, our community is different, and, there's a toughness there that you have to have, and I'm proud of that. Sometimes it is difficult with some people, but ultimately, I think my philosophy, these past few years, it's changed so much because of who we are coaching and who we're with that, I don't even know what my philosophy is anymore. It's just, I know it's all about the kids.
Ever evolving and revolving, I'm sure. Let's take a short break. We'll be back to the sports desk after these messages.
Fires forward with the right hand, a left and then a right, and this one. By Sanchez, and right back on a right hand. They'll exchange it. Good combination now for Pitbull. There's. Torres says, let's go. He says, come get me. And the crowd will boo. And now, fighted this, hasn't he? Oh. There's a great combination. And now I think you're seeing this. Here, a minute to go in round one. And then a right hand. You see Ramirez switch. Well, there's a good answer right back. That's a great combination for Griego to end it. Look at the quick combination. Nice left. Third round. 2 minutes to go in round three. Benavides puts Ramirez down. A shot to.
Gentlemen, your winner, the Pitbull, Josh Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center. The Albuquerque Dragway is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks. Visit abqdragway.com for directions and a full event schedule.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car crafters, it's like it never happened.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed live on Facebook. I'm Ed Nunez, along with Highland head football coach Phil Lovato. Again, Coach, we're both former Hornets. You and I could, it's funny because we live in the same neighborhood almost.
Yes.
You lived on Madera?
That's where I grew up, yeah, Madera.
Okay. So I lived on Eastern and Washington, not too far from each other.
Yeah.
In fact, you live over there on Ross, I think.
Yeah, by the park there.
Right,
yes.
and I live on Smith and Solano. So we kind of stayed in our community.
Oh, yeah.
I told my wife and my mother was still alive at the time, I'm not moving, I'm not leaving here.
Yeah.
And I won't ever,
Yeah.
I'm too old now, man, I'm not leaving. I love that neighborhood, and you've lived there, and you've coached there, you've taught there. So many things that you do, you make your living there. We talked about tradition in the first segment, and we mentioned Coach Henry and his effect on your coaching and professional life. We mentioned Coach Gary Sanchez, Coach Henry Sanchez, Coach Bill Gentry, all the legendary Highland figures.
Right.
And you walk up there, and I walked up there, and when John Barnhill, the athletic director, gave us a tour of the newly renovated gym and locker room, and if you haven't seen it, you got to get out there.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry, man, because I went to the days when I was there, myself and Ray Rodriguez, the head Cibola coach, and we'd break in to play ball, man, and me and a couple other guys. And I looked at that window that we used to break in on, and I looked at it, I'm like, God, I'm surprised the guy that he lifted. There's those 3 steps on that one window, and I can't believe he didn't fall back. Thank God he didn't. But that's how bad we wanted to play ball.
Yeah.
Never took anything. We just wanted to play. We're gym rats.
Right.
And so when I saw the gym, and it's in the alumni lounge, John Barnhill and all the athletic staff over there, and everybody, yourself, all the coaches have just done a great job of preserving history over there. You look at some of the old pictures. Brad Winter, the city councilor, is one of them. It's a great picture of Councilor Winter.
Yeah.
He's still, you look at him now, he's still in great shape.
Yeah,
he's still out there competing in the games. Highland has just had, we mentioned the football athletes, but Brad Winter, Richard Reisinger, the former track David Podrell, holds so many track records. There's just been some outstanding athletes, also some great academians from Highland as well. It's not just about athletics, but we're here to talk about Highland football. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about Hornets in the community. Now, last year, when I was around Nob Hill, around the Walgreens, I ran into the team doing some yard work around the area. Talk about Hornets, and we got some pictures here. Describe what we're seeing. Talk about Hornets in the community.
So basically what we do is, when I took over the program, I want these kids to understand their community, being able to be proud of it. And in some of these pictures you're seeing, before and afters of the yard work. And, it just kind of happened by chance, as far as, we helped somebody out, and then she passed our name along to other people. And next thing you know, this became this is the way we raise money for our program. And, the people give donations, and not everybody, we've done a lot of jobs for free, just because we want to help, but it's about trying to get these boys to understand that, at some point you're going to be men, you're going to be living in these communities more likely. And you need to be proud of where you're from.
Talk about that one with Tyrone Crawford. I didn't mean to.
No, that's right.
Dallas defensive lineman Tyrone Crawford right there. Talk about that one. The number 98.
Yeah.
In case anybody didn't know, he dwarfs everybody. Go ahead, Coach.
He's massive. So this was the breakfast games at Weary Elementary, and Coach Ann Neal Pauls, she works over there, and so she asked if we could come and kind of help out with the kids, and he was there, and it was great for the kids to kind of, they saw the little kids, and the little kids seeing, high school kids and NFL player, and it was a good day, and just to see the excitement even from our boys of like, wow, look at this, he's a large man, very large man.
Yeah, I don't think sometimes the kids, they see the NFL, great pictures, by the way, thanks for sending them, and it's important to talk about Hornets in the community, because there's some more pictures there if you want to talk about those.
This is, we do pretty much in November, towards the end of the season. This is, I believe it's the Highland Nob Hill 66 Neighborhood Association. And this is after a game. So we played the night before, and this was the next morning. We're there at I think 7 a.m. and just going through the neighborhood, cleaning up trash, needles, you name it. We've done this now every year that I've been the head coach. And so, they know, they contact us, and we're there. And matter of fact, tonight we're actually helping, I guess it's National Night Out. We're going to be at the Morningside Park, handing out ice creams and stuff like that for the people that show up. And this one here, we were helping a veteran who was moving from one house to another. We worked the past couple weeks ago or a month ago, the Senior Olympic Games. We worked those, and I want these guys to understand that it's all about service. This was just kind of us going to Santa Rosa to the Whibbit up there to kind of just, have some fun too, and even the coaches we got in there with them probably shouldn't, because you know, not as lively as them.
Oh, heck,
So
you know.
it was hard, but.
There's another great picture.
Yeah, this
there.
was
It's Coach Ortega in the front.
yeah,
You're a
Coach
head
Ortega.
wrestling coach over there at Highland, and also a
An
former
alum.
Highland alumni
Yeah.
himself.
And this was for Suriname. It's like a homeless or they help people get back on their feet, you know, and they provide beds and a lot of furniture and stuff like that. So this is the warehouse. It's a massive warehouse, and we were organizing it this day, but then just a few weeks ago, we actually loaded up a couple of UPS semis, and then those semis went to where the apartments were going to be, and at that point, the La Cueva team unloaded, and so the two of us, you know, worked together and making this happen. So, and this is
talk about the senior games that you. This is one of
Yeah.
the senior participants in basketball, I believe, that you and your team helped score, keep, and
Yeah,
do some other things.
correct.
Talk about that a little bit.
You know, I don't know if do you know who that is?
Pat Boone.
Yes, it is Pat Boone,
the former singer, actor,
heartthrob,
85
everything.
years. Yes, oh yes.
Yeah, yeah.
His daughter Debbie had a song as well.
Correct.
So yeah. Anyway, talk about that.
So, so we were actually scorekeeping his team's game, and you know, afterwards, you know, I was like, "Hey boys, do you know who this is?" And kind of talked about him, and you know, he was a really cool individual. Asked him, you know, "Do you mind taking a picture?" And he was like, "Oh, you know, I love sport." And he was engaged with the boys and talked to them, and he actually spent, you know, time actually talking to them, and made other people kind of wait for us, which was really cool, you know. And that's what it's about, is just showing these kids that, you know, we're all people and we all need help. This is Bandelier Elementary.
Another school in your area?
Yeah, in our area, and that was a couple years ago, but we helped with their Halloween decorations. So this was the day after, cleaning it up, and you know, it's really anything that's there. We're out there. You know, I want to do. This is the best buddies, and this is some of our players, our families, even some of the school. We have Chris Luna, who's one of the assistant principals there, and some other teachers, and you know, I'm a special ed teacher, and so, you know, Best Buddies is important to me, as well as, you know, we try to get our kids involved with the program as much as we can, you know.
I think that's at Whittier, right?
That is at Whittier, my old stomping grounds. And
you went to school there?
I went to Whittier.
Also Wilson, right?
And Wilson.
Okay, Whittier,
yes.
Wilson, Highland.
And so, you know, we go there, and I'm hoping to kind of kindle that relationship this year with our schedule now. But you know, we'd play with them in the, you know, PE classes, and then we'd go into the classrooms and help them with, you know, variety of whatever the teachers wanted. We were in various classrooms, and, you know, the boys really enjoyed it, and the kids had a good time with it, and the teachers, you know, were very positive about it. So I'm really looking forward to building that. And we also went to Emerson that year, you know, as well. So. And then just another lady that asked us to do some work. Here we're moving rocks and putting down new rock, and we actually cut down a giant juniper tree that day. And you know, we get a lot of people that just physically can't do a lot of this work, and so, you know, that's one thing we have. And you know, ultimately, it's been great conditioning as well. I mean, you know, last year when we did all this, we rarely had to run sprints and nothing, and we were two-way players. You know, we're Ironman football, and our kids held up really, really well. And plus, it's starting and finishing a project, you know, which a lot of kids now with the technology, you know, they need things so quick and right away. And this, it's a longer process. It slows them down. It makes them work together. And so, you know, it's been a blessing. In our neighborhood, that's really been the one facilitating this for us has been amazing. You know, so many people, you know, hey, I'm a former Hornet, you know, 78, 65, you know, 83, you name it. And, you know, so then they talk to our boys about, you know, certain locations on school, or, you know, teachers, coaches, whatever it is. And so, you know, when we talk about tradition, it's interesting to see our boys like hearing that tradition with not really knowing, you know, because we had talked, you know, the generational Hornet isn't really there anymore. And so it's important that these kids know the history of the school, I believe.
What's important is if you remember all the work you're doing in these schools and they see the players. And if they go to the games, they'll say, I remember him. There's my favorite. It used to be the generational Hornet. You mentioned that. I remember going to see games at Highland. Although I went to Holy Ghost, and I went to Pius, then I went to Highland. But I remember going to see games at Highland. And I remember having a favorite basketball players like, wow, right? So that generational and what you're doing, the work in the community, that's so important because it gives the players and the team a chance to see their surroundings, not just at Highland, right? It's so important to see the neighborhood around them. And as you mentioned, finish a project, start to finish. And it's not gonna, it's old school hard work, right?
It is.
You know, I remember my father, you know, you got to do the yard where, the leaves, the lawn, and a lot of kids these days are stay inside indoors. So I think it's good to be outdoors, meet people in the community that are connected to Highland. The more people that know that what you're doing with your program, the better it is for everybody involved, right? You never know. I always tell my son, don't burn any bridges. You never know if there's going to be a connection with a kid in the business community. You never know.
Definitely.
It's a long game. So I think I'm very impressed with what you're doing as a team.
You know, we preach that to the boys and even some of the girls that we've had on the team.
That's right. We've had
a couple
girls.
We've had a couple girls.
Can we get to that in the next segment? Let's talk about your prospects for 2019.
Sure.
We'll be back on the sports desk after these messages.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
The Sports Desk is proudly presented by Car Crafters. It's like it never happened.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed live on Facebook. Ed Nunez along with Highland head football coach Phil Lovato, producer Alden Iowani doing his usual great job in the studio. Coach, we mentioned in the first segment we talked about Highland tradition. We haven't talked about how you want to build your own tradition. And Highland tradition is important, right?
It is.
And we mentioned it back in the day. Gosh, I know you have memories. I had it when I was there. I still see Coach Gentry with a hat on the sideline.
Yeah.
Coach Sanchez, Coach Henry Sanchez in the locker room asking everybody to run track. He even asked me, and I said, Coach, you really don't want that?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, Highland had some blazers, right? I mean,
oh, yeah.
Could not believe the track speed.
Yeah.
Holy, how many championships did they win?
I mean, the
4x1
was incredible almost every year.
Man, yeah. So
and long jumpers, always had long jumpers.
Gosh.
Amazing kids. So
yeah, they took away several blue trophies.
Yeah.
In track, and Henry Sanchez, again, Gary and Henry, they went into the Hall of Fame together. Right. And I remember Gary Sanchez's speech that night. And, Henry was a great coach. Henry Sanchez, the former track coach, also Hugh Hackett. We forgot about Coach Hackett. Hugh Hackett, incredible. Mickey Miller, Tom Hogue. But when Gary Sanchez went into the Hall of Fame, he had a speech about his father. But his father was just a legendary man, right? Just like you mentioned, Coach Henry. Legendary people, Judge Chavez, legendary, just great coaches, right?
Yeah.
But you think about it, then you think they taught me more than just about football. Football was just like you're doing with your Hornets.
Right.
You're showing them some community work, what it means to do hard work outside, then finish a project from start to finish. And it's not going to be so quick with texting or video games.
Yeah.
Teaching them some life lessons here, right?
Right.
About respect, whole bunch of things. Highland's doing some great things. We definitely want to emphasize that for sure.
Yes.
I'm always going to be a blue and gold guy for sure, man. I still get the goosebumps when I walk in that school, because it meant a lot to me. It still does. I'm in the community. I told you that. Right. You see Figgy Hall over there, and Mr. Figgy was he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
I had
Marshall Floyd,
the Woods guy, right?
Yeah. Oh no, Floyd was science.
Okay. Marshall Floyd was just one heck of a teacher.
Yeah.
So again, great teachers, great coaches, so many great things came out of Highland and are coming out of Highland. We don't certainly want to say that things are they're just beginning. Let's go for the prospects for your season this year, 2019. Talk about your team, your returners. What is Highland looking at? I know you got the same quarterback, and that's Marco Ortega's son.
Correct.
He's a heck of a. I remember when he started out as a freshman, he struggled a little bit, went through some bumps and bruises. Talk about your prospects for 2019.
One of the things that we're really excited about is the amount of kids who are still in the program when I started. And I think we're going to be about 17 seniors. They've all, they know who I am and my expectations, and it's the football knowledge and just everything has been really exciting for this year, just to see everything come together. And we have some great players. Noah Lopez and Nathan Lopez, they're brothers. One's going to be a senior. Nathan, who's going to be the sophomore, he was actually, he was second team, I think, all Metro running back. Just little guys, but an amazing tough package. And their skill set is I put them up against almost anybody. I mean, we have Dre, who's our quarterback. He's been doing
Andre Ortega.
Yeah, Ortega, and he's one of these kids that works. He works hard. He's real quiet, but it doesn't matter if it's, hey, you need to go get 20 more of these or 30 more of this, or watch this film or whatever it is. He'll do it. And he works really hard. And I want to also acknowledge Rob Kuyeth, who's he is an assistant over at La Cueva. However, he's worked with him with his quarterback camp a lot, and it's made a huge difference. And I mention that because I think you see a lot of coaches at time, the ego gets in the way, and if it's about the kids, and so if there's a resource out there, you need to reach for it, to help them out, and Rob has been great with that, and that only helps our team get better. And then we have Carlos Orozco and Joseph Armendariz. They're our offense and defensive line guys. You know, they wrestled, been in track, football. They're going to be our workhorses for that line, So I'm excited about them, and all these kids have played, so they know the game, they know what's to be expected out there, and so I think that's what's going to really carry us this year is that experience, but then the communication. We talk about the yards and all this kind of stuff, and there's a lot of things that we do as a team with team building stuff, but our communication has gone through the roof this year. Kids are able to, maybe call out's the wrong word, but they're able to tell kids, hey, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And, you sometimes you'll see the egos and people want to fight or complain or yell or whatever. And, our kids communicate really well. Somebody tells them something, they fix it, they talk about it, and so we're seeing that out on the field where, before we would make mistakes because nobody would talk. And now those mistakes are being fixed.
So you talk about terminology on the offensive line,
Right.
and as far as defensive calls, so you've got some more leaders out there.
Yes.
And things need to be adjusted. They're making the calls at the line of scrimmage or in your defensive huddle.
Right.
Which is so important.
That's I was actually just talking to the athletic director, John
Barnhill.
And now we're in that stage of building this program where now the strategy is starting to come in. It's not just teaching our philosophy or teaching our terminology or teaching any of that stuff. Now we've kind of moved past that, and now it's the strategy part of the game, the fun part of coaching. And so that's been really exciting, and the kids have been excited about it too, because we're doing more, but we're doing less at the same time. It's more fine-tuned. Like I said, because of practice and our kids, we're really focused on just, everything has to, it's the little things and being really good at those little things. And, we're not out there to be out there for 2, 3, 4 hour practices. We're there if it's.
Those days are, I think that's important to know. We're talking with Highland High head football coach Phil Lovato, and I think those things are important to note, that those days of, some people will go 3 days back in the day, and those days are over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember.
I don't think any team's doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember 2 days as a player was, they're 2 and 3 weeks. And, those days are gone.
Be a little smarter now.
A lot, yeah.
When you talk about the things that they're doing with trainers to preventive maintenance on your body, way different, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
back then, I told you my son plays basketball, and he was talking about pain management. I'm like, son, there was no pain management back when we played, just pain.
Yeah. The management part was not saying nothing.
A lot smarter now.
It is, and we've one of the things I've preached to the boys is that, if we can earn it, I'll get you whatever we need. I want them to have what everybody else has. We just go about a different way of getting it as far as how we raise money. But we're working with Steve Lucero over at Performance Ranch and their little group out there, and we have Coach Craig that actually comes in and works with our boys now, and just the nutritional part of it and everything that helps them to perform better. We're able to do that now, and you've seen the confidence level in the kids with that, and all of this is a part of this. It's part of this journey that we're doing now. So
way different journey.
Yeah, you can't practice. If you have personally, if you're going 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, it must be nice to have 180 players on your sideline, because just can't do that.
So in consideration of that, you have to be definitely careful about the amount of time you practice, hitting, things like that. It's a lot different now than when you played there. We're definitely aware of that. Talk about your offensive philosophy, your defense. What are you running on offense? I mean, everybody remembers back in the day, of course, you did run the wing tee for a while.
Yep.
And again, the misdirection and just the way they executed back in the day.
Yeah.
Got guys going one way and then the backs out. I mean, it was
counterplay. Yeah.
Coach Gentry might have thrown it 3 times a game on the bootleg, right?
Yeah. But it was almost always a touchdown.
Yes.
So
talk a little bit about your offensive philosophy.
So we've changed. I was calling the offense past couple of years. Especially just trying new system, new everything. I wanted to run the wing tee. That first year we did, and we had some success with it. The second year we started kind of changing because of the type of personnel we had, not quite having the right personnel. And so we were kind of a hodgepodge last year and just mixing it. And now this year, we don't have the tight ends. We don't have some of the skill set to run the wing T, especially to be successful at it. So we've kind of went to more of a spread, but I mean, we're still going to run, still a lot of play action out of it. But with our skill set that we have, it's getting the ball to our guys in more space, and so whether that's going to be more screens, more hitches, quick passing game stuff, things of that nature is what we're really looking for on the offensive side. Because we're not our running backs are not the big, 200-pound running backs, but they can move, they can really move, and in space, they're going to give people a lot of trouble. So offensively, that's kind of our goal. Plus, just the speed of what we're going to try to do. On the defensive side of it, and that's always been my calling, that's what I've always pretty much done. So I've taken over the defense this year, and, the philosophy is very simple. We do what we do. I try to really see what an offense is doing, all that. I try to gauge the feel, because it is an emotional game. But we're always going to do what we do, and we're going to do it as hard and as fast as everybody else. And so you're going to see people coming from anywhere and everywhere at any time. And, we've really been preaching with the kids, the 99 but one. So, they can have 99 yards, just don't give them that one.
That last one.
Yeah, that last
don't
one.
break?
Yep, completely. We're going to take chances because we have to create opportunities. We're not.
Create more turnovers.
Yeah, we have to create turnovers, and, we're going to be reckless at times. But, the boys seem to really love it. They picked it up really quick, and that's part of it. Mentally, if you can believe in what you're doing, positive things are going to happen. So we're really looking forward to the season in general. As long as those dreaded injuries stay away, I think we're going to have a really good year this year.
You really open up against
Rio Grande.
Okay, Rio Grande, August
23rd.
Okay, so that's just around the corner.
Yes,
it is. Thursday night? Is that a Thursday night game?
No, it's Friday.
Friday night game. You'll play against Rio Grande. And Rio Grande, I believe, I saw in the paper, they had more freshmen this year than they've had in a while. That's another program that had fallen on some hard times as far as numbers. And again, a lot of this has to do with redistricting, open enrollment. We'll talk about that a little bit on the last segment. We'll take a break and be back to the sports desk after these messages.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center. The Albuquerque Dragway is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks. Visit abqdragway.com for directions and a full event schedule.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk, live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed live on Facebook. I'm Ed Nunez, along with Highland head football coach Phil Lovato. Coach, man, what an honor to have you here.
Thank
you. It really is. You know, you and I, we had a great visit the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Your daughters are so beautiful.
Thank
they grow
you.
so darn quick.
They do.
And, you know, I loved it because one of them was reading a book. I'm an avid reader.
Yeah.
Dang, I love reading. Every night I got to read something. You know, I've read countless number. I was always a readaholic. So one of your daughters is reading, and I love that.
Yeah.
You know, so we definitely had a good visit. But you know what? We talked about the challenges of fielding the team in 2019 for Highland, and the things that have been said are well documented, right? They're well documented. Highland is facing some challenges. We know that. But we also want to concentrate, again, renovation of Highland High School, the things that they've done positive, right? We can talk about the negative forever. Everyone's got challenges. Going ahead for the 2000, you talked about your prospects. You think you've got a solid team. That's exciting, you know, to hear that. You know, to hear that you think you feel pretty good about it. You don't have a lot of depth, but that's not uncommon for football coaches here in the metro area. A lot of teams are facing, unless you're La Cueva and Cleveland, right? You know, and again, Highland moved down to 4A last year. The enrollment.
Well, yeah, 4A for most sport, 5A football.
Oh, still
so,
5A.
Yeah.
Okay, so the enrollment did change that a little bit. But, you know, you wanted to talk about, we talked about tradition in the past, and you wanted to talk about establishing your own tradition at Highland. Discuss that a little bit.
Well, you know, I had an opportunity to, you know, the family went to Padrell's for some barbecue and, you know, sat down with Mr. Padrell, and we were just talking about tradition and Highland, and, you know, who else to talk to but him, right? And, you know, we were having this conversation, and you know, he made something. He's like, you know, make your own tradition. You know, there's nothing wrong with incorporating the old tradition, but, you know, also the new tradition. And so, you know, that's kind of been one of those things that, as a staff, we've really kind of looked at, you know, like being in the community as much as we are, you know, doing some of those things. You know, just you know, I feel we do probably more than a lot of people. You know, we work hard at it. You know, the tradition of just little things within our own groups, and how we're trying to build, you know, these, you know, this family mindset with the kids, because so many of them, you know, they come from households of, you know, single parents, no parents, things like that, and so it's not even a culture necessarily of football as much of a culture of family, and you know, the hard work ethic and how that's going to carry, you know, everything in their life, you know, moving forward. And so, you know, when we think of all of our traditions, you know, we got some new things this year that we're gonna try that I don't want to talk about yet. You know, hopefully it'll bring some excitement, especially for homecoming.
Good.
You know,
looking forward to that.
It could upset some people, but you know what? The way we kind of look at everything is, and it started from one of our players. You know, we do all this work and everything, and one of them said, you know, Coach, you know, this is our paycheck, so why can't we spend it the way we want? And so I was like, you're right. And so, you know, some of the things that we're doing, like, you know, where we go and things that we're doing, it's all based on the kids. You know, what do they want? They've earned this. They've worked it. And I think that's probably the one big tradition we've created is the boys have a say. You know, they're not the final say, but they have a say, and they're very engaged in that. and it goes down all the way, you know, to even any kind of, you know, if a kid gets in trouble or something, you know, we have a wide open sit down, you know, the kids are going to talk to each other, so there's nobody saying something's behind their back. And I think that little piece that we've created has been one of the most important aspects of our team, because nobody can sit there and say, well, you didn't say. No, everybody had an opportunity. Everything is face to face.
Much better.
And, you know, it's problems are solved much quicker, you know, and we're able to move on much quicker. And so, you know, that's probably been one of the most important things I think we've established. And that's part of being a family. You know, that's part of, you know, sticking together and working hard and, you know, appreciating each other. And, you know, obviously nothing's perfect. We're not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. But, you know, I want everybody to know that that's, you know, we do things together. I mean, we are together. And that's, you know, it's not about wins and losses. You know, that kind of a tradition, you know, we want to win, don't get me wrong. But if all these guys, we can get them into college, if we can get them, you know, we make sure that they take the ACTs, you know, we try to work on tutors. You know, that's kind of been the tradition now, is how are we going to get you successful in life to where you can take care of your family.
I'll tell you what, that's, you know, back in the day, right, with Coach Gentry, again, Coach Gentry, you know, legendary Hall of Fame coach, there's no discourse at all. It's his way, or no way, right? And that's the way it was back then.
Right.
No problem. You didn't question, the coach's word was law. And I think it's great that you're involving these young men, because you're seeing, again, how to make decisions, how we do things. And I've coached too, so, you know, outer talk from the edge can ruin teams, right?
Right.
Gossip and jealousy and ego. And they're on any team, right? They are. We've all got egos, otherwise you wouldn't be out there.
If you're a coach.
Right, of course, you know, I coached, and even as a referee, my friend of mine said, you have to have it, and you go to make those calls, and he's right about that. But I think it's just wonderful what you're doing. Now, it's just not just about football, right? It's not about, it is. You know, every day you don't go there twice, 2 days for it not to be about football, but you see a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And to me, that is so important, because 10, 15, 20 years from now, when they're having, you know, their kids and their jobs, they're going to be like, man, boom. Oh, that's reaching back for the lessons that you taught them at Highland.
That's why we coach. I mean, personally, that's really, and I've had success at other places, and you know, I mean, I've coached all over the place. Never moved. I've always lived in my same area, but you know, I've coached at different places, and you know, you coach for those relationships and those times, and you know, your producer, you know, Alden over there.
You used to coach him.
I coached him at Cibola.
So this is a town, man. I'll tell you, it's not a city, right? Anyway, keep going.
And so, you know,
that's funny. Yeah.
He walked in. He's, oh, you coach me, coach, and you know, but that's what's, you know, I've been to, you know, everything from weddings to funerals to you name it of players and their families. And, you know, the greatest thing is when these kids come back, especially the ones that have gone to the military, and they just go, you know, Coach, I thank you so much, because, you know, in boot camp, you know, that guy's yelling at me, and all I could just think about, I've had it worse with Coach.
Got him ready. Got him ready.
Yeah, and you know, that's coaching to me. That's what makes this thing so fun. You know, we spend so much time away from our families, our own families, and you know, these boys become your boys, and you know, everything matters, and you know, you hope you're making the right decisions, and you know, sometimes you have those relationships, sometimes you don't, but you know, ultimately every coach, I think, is truly trying to do what's best for those kids. You know, we spend a lot of time with them.
No, there's no question. We've got about a minute left. Okay. Wrap it up for us, Coach. Let me know what we can expect from Highland football this year. You've touched on a couple of things. Let us know what we're going to see.
You know, you're going to see some great kids doing some great things, whether it's out in the community, on the football field, in the classroom. You know, you're going to see us, and you know, you're going to know who we are. And you know, I really don't care what people think about our neighborhood. I'm proud of it. You know, these kids are proud of it, and you know, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And so, you know, we're up for the fight. We're up for the challenge. So looking forward to it.
August 23rd against Rio Grande. Hornets open up. Highland head football coach Phil Lovato, thanks so much for being our guest.
Thank you,
Best
sir.
of luck. For producer Alden Iawani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll be back next week on the Sports Desk.
Get into the game with Garden Schwartz Team Sales.